Hello guys and welcome back to a brand new video on my channel. In today's video I've got a Chelsea loan army review. This is going to be a total review, a complete review of all of the players we've currently got out on loan. I haven't counted them up, but I'd say there's probably near 20, 25-ish, if not even more, guys. You guys know that Chelsea's loan army, it's big. The amount of players we've got out on loan, it is a large number compared to most sides. So I wanted to go through each and every single player, not just the top ones. I wanted to go through all of them and basically give you guys enough of a report on how they're doing, basically what their future is with Chelsea like as well, because they may be doing well at certain clubs, but at Chelsea they're just not ever going to get a look in. So I wanted to discuss that. I'm not the best place to talk about some of these guys. There are certainly other people on like Twitter and other platforms who will know more about these guys. They will have been doing extensive research on them, but I am in a good position. I do follow a lot of these players. I do know a lot about the club, so I'm going to try and give my best analysis of what I think the future could hold for some of these players, and basically also how they are doing right now at their respective clubs. So, as I said, or as I haven't really said, feel free to leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you're a new Chelsea fan, then please drop a like and also subscribe for more and more content. And again, leave your thoughts for future videos because I'm really open to any suggestions right now. And I also thought this was a video that is interesting to make right now because there's a loan cap coming in, which basically means that, well, per season maybe we'll only be able to have like 12 players out on loan, or 10 players out on loan, or 8 players out on loan, and maybe even all the way down to 6 by like 2022. So I think that would affect Chelsea. It's going to mean that some of these guys will just have to be sold on, and we're going to have to pick who we think the best players are, and the players we want their development to continue. And we'll keep sending them out on loan, those ones that we feel, they do have a future with the club. So I'm going to be going through all of them today. And without any further ado, guys, I think I've covered everything. Let's get started. I'm going to try and not make this video as long as it could get, because there's a lot of players to get through, a lot of stuff to talk about. But let's get started with the goalkeepers. We're going to start here with Nathan Baxter. He's currently out on loan at Ross County. He's one of 2 goalkeepers out on loan right now. He's someone I like. I like Baxter. I think he's got, a good attitude. There was a good little episode about his loan spell actually on the Chelsea YouTube channel. He's currently getting good regular football out in Scotland, which is great to see for him. In terms of his Chelsea future, I don't really know. I think he's a goalkeeper who does look good for his respective league. He looks promising, and he's also got that determined drive about him, which I do like. But with, Jamie Cumming, who's already kind of the young goalkeeper for Chelsea right now, who's getting, action in the first team in terms of the bench, training a lot, I think he's kind of in his way, as is Willy Caballero. Then you've also got Kepa, of course, and then you've got, probably a new goalkeeper coming in this summer. So you never know. You never know. If Caballero leaves, if Kepa leaves, God knows, Cumming gets loaned out, then Baxter, he could be in the first team. I wouldn't rule him out completely. I wouldn't say Baxter's never going to get in the first team, but I don't think there's a real clear route for him. And he's definitely not one right now who you're thinking, yeah, this guy's the future Chelsea goalkeeper. But you never know with Baxter. He's still young and he could have an opportunity. Moving on now to Jamal Blackman. He's actually still a Chelsea player. He's probably one of the older ones in the loan army though. He's really getting on now, Jamal. He's currently out on loan at Bristol Rovers. He's a goalkeeper who I do like. I do like Jamal Blackman. I think he had a bright future at one stage, but it's just loan spell after loan spell after loan spell, and all of a sudden you look at the player and he's 27 years old and you're thinking, where did all that time go? In terms of future at Chelsea, I don't see it with Jamal. I really don't. We wish him all the best in the future. I really just want him to settle down at a League One or a Championship club now and just go from there and see if he can become a regular and become, a good goalkeeper, one loved by the fans, because I don't see a future for him at Chelsea. I really don't. So I think he's going to be moving on if the loan cap does come in. I think he'll be one of the first ones to be sold officially. On to the right back area now. We've got 2 really interesting options here actually. We've got, starting with Zappacosta, I'm going to begin with here. He's currently out on loan at Roma. We all know about Zappacosta, he has played regular Chelsea football. He's not a youngster. He got signed under Conte. He was used at the right wing back role. He played a little bit under Sarri last season. You guys will all remember him in that game up against Frankfurt towards the end of last season. That was absolutely insane, wasn't it, on our massive Europa League run. That was a real great journey, but he's had a big injury this season, Zappacosta. And I think he's going to want to go out on loan to Roma again next season. He barely got any football. He's a player who, when he played, I think was a good servant for us. And with Aspie getting old, you never really know if he could see his future back at Stamford Bridge one day. Lampard always did comment on how good his attitude was in pre-season, but in terms of Chelsea future, I would say it's not going to happen. But again, you never know. If injuries pop up, if we can't find the sort of player we want in the market, and all of a sudden with a couple of days left we're thinking, well, we could do with the right back here, then Zappacosta, he could just sneak in. We'll have to wait and see. Dujon Sterling is the other right back. I think he's actually got potentially a future with the club. I don't know, but I think he might. He's a good driving, big right back. Sorry, I've watched him play on a number of occasions. Dujon, he was great in the youth teams. He got a couple of opportunities here and there. He got one in pre-season. He just looked not good enough at all. Not one of you know, the promising player that we know he is. He's someone who, whenever I watch him, I feel like he has that positive drive. He is a presence on the field, and he can drive forward and make things happen. But it all depends on what happens in his next loan spell. So I think if he has another really good loan spell, he's at Wigan right now, he doesn't play that much. I think if he gets a good loan spell, then you never know it. He could have a future at Stamford Bridge. You know, Jody Morris, Lampard, they'll be looking at him and just seeing what happens. It's maybe likely with Reece James in there and Aspie right now, and maybe even, you know, I think, well, if we want to bring another right back, I don't think we're going to be looking to the loan army, unfortunately, but you never know. Dujon, if he really does make a rise to power, then he could indeed get a right back spot, but he's not one who I think, out of the whole list, is really primed and ready to join the first team. On to the centre-backs now, and there are a lot of these, so let's begin quickly with Trevor Chalobah. He's the brother of Nathaniel. He's a big character in Chelsea's youth teams. We know him. He's a promising name. He's got a good attitude. I like him. He could have a future at the club. He's a good presence, and he always improves Huddersfield when he's played for them this season, which is a team he's currently out on loan at. And it will kind of all depend on, I think, if a spot opens up for him. What he has is versatility. He can play centre-back, he can play in midfield as well. That means, you know, like Ethan Ampadu, that roles do open up, but it all depends on whether they think, yeah, you know what, we'll bring Trevor into the fold and we'll see if he can get a spot. And, you know, maybe one day he could be playing regular Chelsea football. We'll have to wait and see. And like I say, I don't think he's one that next season Lampard and Jody will be thinking, yeah, we want to keep him at the club. He'll most likely get another loan spell, but he's a bright prospect, Chalobah. I'd like the look of him, and he could have a future. Jake Clarke-Salter's actually played a good amount of football this season when he's been out on loan, and at one stage he was probably looking at the future of Chelsea's defence, you know, and he was a youth player. He was looking good whenever he came into the first team in pre-season. He's got that sweet left foot, playing out of the back nicely. But he just looks off the cards now, guys. It just doesn't look like he has a future at all with the club, you know. Of course, we'll have to see how he continues to progress, but I really doubt he'll have a future with Chelsea now, especially after he suffered quite a big injury not too long ago now, you know, a year or a bit ago. I just think his development has halted massively, and Jake Clarke-Salter is definitely one of the players I wouldn't be thinking is going to have a future with the club. Mark Guehi, on the other hand, though, guys, is someone who I do think could have a big future at the club. He's already played for us this season against Grimsby and against Manchester United, guys, so he's played against top level opposition, and he's done alright. He's currently out on loan at Swansea, joined them in January, where I think we thought, you know, we've played him a bit this season, we've seen how he is, but there's no real space for him in the remainder of this season, so we'll loan him out. And I think it's a nice balance that, you know, we had him for a bit, then we got rid of him for a bit, and he should be coming back next pre-season to, you know, give it another go. So I think the positive thing about Guehi is Lampard clearly likes him, he clearly trusts him, he's played him in big games, so that does mean that he could have a future here. We'll have to wait and see, really. We'll have to wait and see, you know, how much more football he gets at Swansea if the season even finishes, and whether he does have a future at Chelsea. I think he really could. I think watch out for Mark Guehi. I think he could be a centre-back for a couple of years to come. Josh Grant is someone who I don't really know much about. He's currently playing regular football at Plymouth. He appears to be doing well for himself. You know, in terms of future at Chelsea, I wouldn't say this is someone who we're thinking is knocking on the door. I think he needs a big revolution ahead of him if he's going to get anywhere near the first team. Just because of the fact he's playing so low down right now, you know, he's not in the Championship, he's at Plymouth currently. You know, I haven't watched him at all, in fact, so there's no point in me commenting on how good or how bad he is, but in terms of his Chelsea future, what I can say, give an educated prediction, I don't think it appears to be on the cards, although, you know, you need to see how much potential he has as a centre-back if he does make a big step in the near future, because he easily could. He's still a young lad, and if he continues to play good regular football, then we never really know, but I wouldn't say this is someone to be looking out for a couple of years to come anyway. Matt Miazga is another centre-back. I think he's currently playing at Reading. He's having quite a good season. Whenever he plays for them, I hear a lot of stuff on Twitter that he's been improving how Reading have been performing, so that's a positive sign. But this guy at the time when he signed for Chelsea in 2015 was just a weird old signing, you know, as part of that weird 2015-16 season where we signed all sorts of weird players, and a lot of them are currently out on loan right now, and rightly so, because they just don't look good enough for Chelsea. But you know, I don't think he's going to have a future with us. I really don't. He could play in the Prem one day. I do think that. Maybe, you know, a lower down club if someone gets promoted from the Championship. But I don't think at Chelsea. I really don't. I wouldn't have him as a future Chelsea centre-back for Matt Miazga, unfortunately. Richard Narty, another centre-back here. He's actually quite similar to Josh Grant in the way that he's a young centre-back. He's playing regular football, but it's quite low down. He's playing at Oxford, this lad. So, you know, it's a similar sort of situation to Narty, where I wouldn't think he's got any chance of getting into the first team just because of how low down he's playing, but we'll have to wait and see if he makes a big evolution as a footballer in the next coming seasons. It's, like Grant, a bit early to tell with some of these players who are very low down right now and will have to build themselves up a little bit. You know, it's more easy to say Miazga won't have a future with the club, or Clarke-Salter, because they've had a lot of years out on loan now, but Narty and Grant, you know, they've played in the Chelsea youth teams quite recently. They're just getting their first couple of loan spells now, and as of now, I'd say it's a bit too early to tell, but don't expect to be seeing him in Chelsea first team colours anytime soon. And then I thought I'd leave this guy till last on the centre backs. It's going to be Ethan Ampadu. He can also play in midfield, and this is probably the first player of the video where you think, yeah, this guy, he could have a future at Chelsea next season. It would not be a surprise at all to see him in Lampard and Josie's first team squad, so that's a really, really good sign. He's a player who I just think has such a massive, massive potential at the football club. Every time he played for us in the past, guys, I don't know if you guys agreed, but he looked so comfortable. Can I just say, you know, in this 2017 to 18 season, whenever we played a back three in the cup or something, when Ampadu was at the heart of it, we looked really, really strong defensively. I really like Ethan Ampadu, and I think he played that role against Spurs in the Champions League recently. He hadn't been playing for Leipzig all season, which has been a shame for us. It's kind of halted his development a little bit, but he proved the good player he is. He's so comfortable on the ball. He's a good tackler. He's very determined. He's a good leader, Ampadu. And I think, you know, he's definitely a must-watch for Chelsea's future. And if he doesn't find a spot in the first team next season, then I'm hoping he gets another good loan spell where he actually plays regular football this time. But I am super excited to see him develop with the club. I do think he's someone who we should really be looking out for. Now we move on to left-backs. We nearly finished with the defenders that there are a lot of, as you guys can tell. We've got Bauer Achman. This guy has played a lot of football with Chelsea, actually. He really has. He's featured a decent amount in the 2015-16 season. He looked like an all-right left-back, to be fair. You know, he wasn't terrible. But his loan spells have kind of been a mixed bag. Some have been good, some have been a little bit, you know, he doesn't really play that much. He's currently out on loan at Mallorca, which I find a bit odd. You know, let's see how his loan spell goes. If he does have an amazing season somewhere, then there's no reason why Lampard, with, you know, how generous he is to some of these out of favour players, he could pull them back in and say, you know, show us what you can have. But for me personally, in terms of future Chelsea left back, I don't think he really comes anywhere near it. I'm hoping next season our two left backs are Alex Telles and Ian Martson from the youth team. I think that gives us a perfect balance, and I'm excited for that. I really am. And also, guys, at left back we have Juan Castillo. This guy is a player who can play on the wing, but he's actually currently out on loan at Ajax. He's a really bright prospect, this player. Ajax just thought, we'll snap him up. They've got him on loan with an option to buy, I think, so they are going to be exercising that option come the end of the loan. He can also play left wing, like I said. Unfortunately, in terms of future at Chelsea, I think, you know, maybe if he was our player, then we would basically be snatching him back. But now that it's in the hands of Ajax, I think, you know, we don't have that option anymore to take him back whenever we want. Ajax, if they want to, they'll be using him in the future. And either way, guys, whether it's at Ajax or Chelsea or anywhere else, we do want Castillo to be having a bright, bright future. So that's really exciting for his development, seeing him out there at Ajax. And now we move on to the midfield, guys, and we start with the big man, Tiémoué Bakayoko. This guy, unfortunately, is now a bit of a joke and a bit of a meme at Chelsea, which is a little bit annoying. You know, you think he was bright for us when he signed in September 2017. He really was. You know, we thought him and Kante in midfield could be absolutely class in there, but it just never really was that way, was it, guys? Unfortunately, it never went that way for Tiémoué Bakayoko. He had a really good loan spell at AC Milan recently, actually. He's currently at Monaco under Robert Moreno with the likes of Cesc Fabregas and, of course, Wissam Ben Yedder, but future at Chelsea is just not on the cards at all, guys. The positive thing about Bakayoko is we've actually managed to recover the 40 million that we paid on him, which is really, really impressive work from Marina again, as our well, as someone who's part of our club, you know, it helps with transfers a lot, so she's managed to get a lot of money back on Bakayoko. That's really positive for the club. It means that we can make big signings in the summer again, so that's really, really good. Bakayoko, we wish him all the best, but he's just not right for Chelsea and the Premier League at all. Danny Drinkwater is a really, really sad story, guys. This guy has no future at Chelsea, and unfortunately, it doesn't look like he's got a future anywhere. He's currently out on loan at Aston Villa because Burnley, they said, have him back in January to Chelsea. We managed to get him back out to Villa, but more and more off-the-field issues have just caused him more and more havoc in his life. Chelsea paid 35 million for this guy, and unfortunately, unlike Bakayoko, we're not going to be able to recover that money from him. And in my opinion, we just need to see if a Championship club, if a Prem club, will have him for like 5 million, just so we get him off our books, because he's turning into a player right now who we can't really seem to get rid of, which is really, really frustrating. Probably for him as well, actually, you know, but his career has completely gone downhill, and Chelsea just need to offload him as soon as we can, in my opinion. Mario Pasalic, like Juan Castillo, is no longer really in our hands. He will not be our player next season, but he's technically still out on loan, so let's talk about him. This is a really, really good player. You know, he's thriving in Atalanta's wonderful Italian side. They've been excellent this season. What a joy to watch, especially in the Champions League against Valencia recently. But he's no longer ever going to play for Chelsea, guys. It's widely known that the Italian outfit, they're going to be paying 15 million for him to come the end of the season, so we wish him all the best, guys. I'm really happy he's finally settled down. He's spoken about that a number of occasions, that he wanted to settle down a little bit, and he's now got that. He's out on loan, of course, right now, but he will be joining Atalanta in the summer, which is really good to see. And Pasalic, we wish you all the best, my friend. And I think, guys, a little extra in the centre mid area. I've added in Marco van Ginkel here. I think He's a player who's still actually at Chelsea. He's not out on loan, but I wanted to add him into this video because I wanted to talk about him, you know. For you guys who know about Marco van Ginkel, he's been riddled with injuries, guys. For some reason, I always want to see him strive for Chelsea and just see if he can play one game in midfield. You know, I always think Jorginho looks like he needs cover sometimes. Could he be that man to come in there and play, you know, in the heart of midfield, move the ball a bit, tackle well? But he just never recovers from injuries, guys. He's got such terrible injuries, and what I want him to do is go back to PSV permanently and see if we can win more titles there and do really well there like he did a couple of years back. I think that'll be the best move for his career, and unfortunately for Van Ginkel, he just doesn't look on right now. Now we move over to some central attacking midfielders. We've got about 3 of these, give or take, depending on where you call these players' positions really are. But I'm going to start with Conor Gallagher. This guy, like Ethan Ampadu, I think, is best positioned to join the Chelsea first team. And that's really exciting, that really is. He's a really young prospect, Gallagher, and he's really exciting. He was actually involved a little bit under Sarri last season in our Europa League run. He was on the bench here and there. But this is another player, guys, who will be having a future at Chelsea. And that's really exciting to say. You know, a great loan spell that he had at Charlton earlier this season. He's now gone, though, back to Chelsea and then back out to Swansea on loan until the remainder of the season. We wanted him to get Championship football. So, unfortunately for the Charlton fans who were gutted about that, he's now going to be at Swansea for a while. But the issue with Conor Gallagher is, in terms of, you know, next season and finding a spot in that first team, the issue is we've got Barkley, Loftus-Cheek, Mason Mount, Jorginho, Kovacic, Kante, and now Billy Gilmore. Where is the spot for him there? I don't think any of those guys are going to be leaving in the summer, and that basically means there's no room for Gallagher. You know, I'd be interested to see what happens with the next season. Are they going to have to axe someone from that midfield to fit him in? Are they going to give him another loan spell and then wait for a spot to open up? In my opinion, that would be the best thing to do, but what I am interested to see is where do they loan him out? Maybe to a Premier League club, see what he can do there, but like I said, you know, only with a club that's going to give him good football, because we don't want him just on the bench all year or on the reserves at like a club like Burnley or something. So Gallagher, let's hope that he gets into the first team at some point. I'm sure he will, guys. He's such a bright prospect. You know, you ask any Championship fan about Gallagher and they'll know about him, or the Football League fans. You know, Gallagher, he's a quality player, guys, and I'm excited for you guys to see him in the future at Chelsea. We've also got George McEachran out on loan. He's an interesting club. He's in Cambuur in Holland. I'm not entirely sure how you pronounce that. It's spelled C-A-M-B-U-U-R, but anyway, he's out on loan at Holland, you know, as a lot of Chelsea players have been in the past. He's a bright prospect, you know, McEachran. He was involved in the first team, like Gallagher, actually, under Sarri last season in the Europa League squads, but I don't know about his future at Chelsea. His position is a little bit overpopulated, you know, the wings and the attacking mid-areas, and I don't think that we'll be looking to play him ahead of anyone else we've got out on loan or at the club, or even the signings that we'll be looking to bring in. I don't think he really gets into Lampard's side. I can't see his future at Chelsea right now, but he'll definitely need to become special if he really wants to push on to that first team, that's what I will say. Another attacking midfielder slash winger, if you would, is Nathan. You're probably wondering, who on earth is this guy? But we signed him a while ago, and it's another odd signing, quite similar to, you know, Pasalic at the time, or Matt Miazga, where you're just thinking, why have we signed this guy? But anyway, I wondered if he could be part of our first team one day. It never really happened, but if a loan cap was to be introduced, and this would be another one of those guys who moves out. You know, he actually plays a decent amount of football, and he's actually quite good at some other leagues, so I'm hoping he does well, you know, in the Brazilian league or the Portuguese league. But future at Chelsea is close to 0% chance right now, guys, for Nathan. Don't expect to see him under Frank Lampard's side anytime soon. We've got quite a few wingers out on loan. It's quite interesting to see, because I think wingers is an interesting position. I'm not entirely sure if we've got any wingers, though, who are looking to push on. I'll go through all of them for you guys right now. We've got Kennedy to start with, who, when he played for us a while back, kind of played at like a left-back or left-wing-back role more than anything, but he's an interesting player. He actually played for Chelsea, you know, a lot in the past, like I just mentioned, and he actually played for us quite a bit in this pre-season. I was wondering if he was going to stay as kind of a backup winger option, but he's out on loan to Getafe, and I think they would be smart to pay a permanent fee for him in the summer, if I'm being honest. I know him well, Kennedy. I watched him a lot again this season, so in my lifetime I've watched a lot of Kennedy play football. I think he's a bright player. I like Kennedy as a footballer, actually. I wouldn't say he's part of Chelsea's future, though. I think we've got better wingers and better players who produce better, you know, end products in the penalty area, but I want him to have a good future. I'm guessing he won't have a future with us, but I wouldn't 100% rule it out, because Lampard seemed to be quite fond of him in pre-season. It was only towards the end of the transfer window where we said, yeah, you can go to Getafe. We've got a few wingers too many right now, so I think Kennedy's someone who I think we'll see again maybe, but I don't think really in the first team too much. Jacob Maddox is a young winger. He's someone who I think isn't really at the quality of some of the other players out on loan, though he's currently playing for Southampton Youth right now. We loaned him out there to see if he can get some more action. His future at Chelsea is doubtful, in my opinion. I can't ever see him getting a first-team spot with us, unfortunately. But I hope he finds somewhere for himself in English football to indeed progress with his career. Because at one stage when I first saw him in the youth teams, he was looking super promising, was young Jacob Maddox. So we will hope for him the best, and I'm sure the Chelsea fans can agree with when I say we want him to have a great future. Moving on to Victor Moses now. He's currently out on loan at Inter. I think he's more of a winger than a wing back. I didn't know what category to put him in. I put him in winger though. Moses, what a great servant to Chelsea he was. You know, big Vic at right wing back. We loved him, didn't we? He was an absolute monster down the right hand side under Antonio Conte. What a story that was, the way he came back and played regular football. We all loved that, I think, and we can all agree with that. But I think Inter have got our option to buy from in the summer. I hope he enjoys great success over there in Italy. Because I hope, you know, him reunited under Conte is a great story. His time at Chelsea's past now, really. And I hope he does well at Inter. Then we have Charlie Musonda, guys. You know, some of you guys may have forgotten about him, but I'm sure when I say the name, it rings a bell in your head. This guy was such a bright player for Chelsea. Remember, he got that goal against Nottingham Forest in the Cup, and he was getting involved. You know, remember the cross to Rudiger's header against Everton. He was involved massively in a Carabao Cup run that we had against, not against anyone, but I mean against all sorts of teams. But yeah, in the 2017-18 season under Conte, he was playing quite a bit. He's had some unsuccessful loan spells, he's had some big injuries, that's halted him a little bit. He had such hype around him, you know, he had loads of skills up his sleeve, and he's a really promising little winger. We'll have to wait and see what the future from Chelsea holds. I'm interested to see what Lampard thinks of Musonda. Haven't ever really heard him speaking about the lad, but I wouldn't rule out him having a future at Chelsea entirely, but I think another loan spell, and a good one next season, is exactly what he needs. And with just 4 more players on the list, guys, I'm sure you guys are thinking, when does the list end? I know, there are a lot of players out on loan, but I want to make a big video about this, going over everyone. It's the right sort of time. People have got a lot of time on their hands now, so why not go over everyone? Let's carry on, guys. Lucas Piazon. What on earth happened to him? He's getting old now, isn't he? He's currently doing pretty good at Rio Ave over in Portugal, I think is where Rio Ave play. He was actually quite promising at one stage. You know, who remembers that game with him that he played against Aston Villa? I think he missed a penalty, but he looked super promising in that game. Did young Lucas Piazon under Rafa Benitez, but his Chelsea career looks way over. And like I've mentioned a few times, if the loan cap gets introduced, he's been one of the players who will often be sold on immediately. And now we move on to strikers. I think we'll all be looking, you know, is there another Tammy Abraham in there? Is there someone who we think we can pull back from a loan spell and use? Well, I'm going to go through a couple of them now. We've got Charlie Brown, who we start with. He's quite promising. He's currently playing out on loan at a Belgium outfit called Saint-Gilloise. I don't really know how you pronounce it, but yeah. Or Gilloise, maybe, in proper pronunciation, that sounds more correct. But he's a smart striker. I like Charlie Brown. You know, he does have a good potential. Maybe could have a future at Chelsea if he has a good loan spell somewhere. We'll have to wait and see how his development goes on. Don't rule him out just yet though, Charlie Brown. He's a good young striker and certainly a fox in the box, I would say. We've also got Izzy Brown. I put him in the striker section. You can call him a striker, a left winger, right winger, cam. He can really play anywhere across the front 4. But who else remembers Izzy Brown in the 2014-15 pre-season under Mourinho, where he was whipping in free kicks against Wickham, and he was our star player that pre-season. He was an absolute joy to watch. But it looks like it is probably now time for him to move on. I think he's getting old, and he just doesn't look like the same player every time I tune into him. I remember watching him in pre-season thinking, I think Lampard brought him on in some games against Bohemians and St Patrick's, was it? And we were all thinking, I think, you know, Izzy, you know, what have you got up your sleeve, mate? We all remember you back in the olden days, but he just doesn't look like the same player at all. He's having a solid season out on loan at Luton right now. I don't think he'll ever play for us ever again unless he gets pre-season opportunities, but in terms of an official fixture, I can't see it happening. I think he's going to be loaned out again, if not sold, and it doesn't look like his Chelsea career is going to go anywhere when it looks so bright at such a young age at one stage. And lastly, guys, the final player of the video, we have Ike Ugbo, and maybe the player, actually, who's having the best loan spell. This guy's on absolute fire, can I just say. Out on loan at Roda in Holland. He looks promising. I don't really think he's got the biggest future out of the loan players out here, but he's scoring a load of goals. He really is. I doubt he'll play for the first team, but if Lampard sees this guy's scoring a massive numbers of goals wherever he goes, then he will be picked at some stage. I can guarantee that. Lampard, he does it on merit. And if Ike Ugbo keeps doing this sort of stuff, you know, I think he racked over 20 goals so far this season or so. I may be over-exaggerating. Maybe it's like 14. Go and check it, though. Ugbo, either way, has played a good amount of games this season out on loan at Roda. It's a second division of Holland, it's worth noting. It's not the Eredivisie, but if he does it at a higher level of football, then you never know, he could have a future. So well done to him though for getting goals this season out on loan. And there we have it, guys. I've gone through all of the names out on loan for Chelsea. I've given you guys a little preview, a little briefing of all of them. It's time to wrap it up though. In terms of immediate futures at Chelsea, I think the two that we looked at next season are Ethan Ampadu and Conor Gallagher. I think Lampard and Jody and the rest of his coaching staff team, they'll be sitting down and thinking, can we incorporate them or should we loan them out again? But they'll probably be the most two protected players, and they'll be the ones thinking, yeah, they have a future with the first team. And maybe even Mark Wahe just behind him, just because of the fact that he has played for us already this season, so that puts him ahead of a few others. But like I mentioned at the end there with Ugbo, and there's a few others if I just scroll up my list and have a look at some of them. You know, you look at Trevor Chalobah, John Sterling, that maybe. Certain players who, if they have a little burst, if they do look to start look promising, then they will be considered, mark my words. So that's the positive thing, guys. The loan army, it isn't just disregarded anymore. You know, how many players came up from loan this season who are now playing? You know, you've got Reece James, Abraham, Batshuayi, Mount, Tomori, amazing amounts of players. So the loan army, if you do well, you will get promising rewards for it, and that's, you know, that says it all about the fact that Gallagher and Ampadu should be playing for us next season, and any of the other guys on this list, you know, just go and do your stuff and you will be looked at. That's the promising thing right now for us Chelsea fans. There is future everywhere, there's youth, there's players out on loan, and there's also hopefully new signings in the summer to really push us up a level, because you know, it's nice using the out-of-favour players, but we want to become that winning team again, so we need some big signings there, in my opinion, to push us up and not get bullied anymore in the Premier League. So I'm excited for the future. I've gone through all the players out on loan, guys. Please drop a like and a subscribe for more of this sort of content. I've gone over all of them. It was a long video, but necessary in these long and, you know, quite depressing times for some of you guys. And yeah, I'll see you all very, very soon. Thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.